In a theory of justice, Rawls defends a conception of justice as fairness. He holds that an adequate account of justice cannot be derived from utilitarianism, because that doctrine is consistent with intuitively undesirable forms of government in which the greater happiness of a majority is achieved by neglecting the rights and interests of a minority. Reviving the notion of a social contract, Rawls argues that justice consists of the basic principles of government that free and rational individuals would agree to in a hypothetical situation of a perfect equality. In order to ensure that the principles chosen are fair, Rawls imagines a group of individuals who have been made ignorant of the social, economic, and historical circumstances from which they come, as well as their basic values and goals, including their conception of what constitutes a good life. Situated behind this veil of ignorance, they could not be influenced by self-interested desires to benefit some social groups at the expense of others. Thus, they would not know any facts about their race, sex, age, religion, social or economic class, wealth, income, intelligence, abilities, talents, and so on. The greatest equal liberty principle takes priority, followed by the equal opportunity principle, and finally the difference principle.
As stipulated in the first principle of John Rawls' justice theory, each individual must have an equal entitlement to the broadest possible basic liberty, which must be compatible with corresponding liberty for others. The basic freedom of individual and society are, generally talking, political freedom, which is the right to choose a good leader and be qualified for public office, along with the right to speak freely of discourse and gathering, freedom of heart and opportunity of thought, opportunity of the individual alongside the right to hold individual property and independence from inconsistent capture and seizures, as characterized by the idea of law and order. These freedoms are all expected to be equivalent by the primarily rule, since people of an equitable society are to have similar fundamental privileges. But not everything could be a basic liberty, and plenty of things could also be distributed unequally. For example, jobs and positions of privilege are inevitably unequally distributed, and Rawls also thinks it would be to distribute goods like money unequally. Provided an unequal distribution was good for everybody, the question though is what kind and degrees of inequality are acceptable. Rawls' second principle answered this by saying that inequalities of job and social station are acceptable if they are distributed under conditions of fair equality of opportunity. And resulting inequalities of resources like income and wealth are acceptable if they are distributed so on to achieve the best benefit to the smallest amount well off.
We can apply the theory of John Rawls to the issue in the Philippines, which is the current juvenile justice for child in conflict with the law, or CICL. Lowering of age for criminal liability has been a huge issue in the Philippines, following the incident of Magwat sibling case, in which the suspect for this murder case involves minors, wherein they stabbed to death the two victims. It was disappointing to see that these minors are still protected by human rights and are afforded all the rights of a CICL, which means a child can commit an act or omission whether punishable under special laws or the amended revised penal code, which is referred to as an offense. In other words, the child offender shall not be punished. Leaving the two victims aside and the parents not being able to achieve justice to what happened is just extremely unfair. Therefore, we strongly believe that applying John Rawls' theory is the answer. In particular, if we apply the definition of the veil of ignorance, wherein we're going to present to people, especially to lawmakers, what it feels to be in the position of the parents of the Magwat siblings, how it feels losing your child from a murder and not having the justice they deserve, just because of the law that protects these murderers since they are still minors. In conclusion, we believe that there should be an application of retributive or corrective justice to the current justice system in the Philippines. Children who committed heavy crimes should be removed from all their rights and be punished justly.